Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy and on my channel I talk about all things burnout related. In 2016 I myself had a burnout and now I'm using my experience to help others avoid burning out or to recover quicker, better, in a more sustainable way. A couple of weeks ago I had a clip that talks about stressors, and today I want to talk about how these stressors affect you and what you can do about them to make sure that they don't get out of hand. Basically, reacting before it gets too bad. Now, the key here obviously is to notice in what kind of an environment, what kind of a situation, what's the circumstance that you feel stressed. According to a recent study that I read, the most common indicators for stress are tight deadlines, unmanageable workload, unclear goals, a toxic work environment, potential reorganization, or a conflict. And these are just the most common stressors. And sometimes there's not much you can do about something that's stressing you. A tight deadline is a tight deadline. So you just have to somehow deal with that, and you'll develop some coping mechanism and you'll be okay, as long as there's not too much stress and there's not too many deadlines after deadline after deadline after deadline that you need to reach. What happens if I feel stressed? So when I was burning out, I noticed some of the early warning signs and some I chose to ignore. And that was obviously an issue because then things got worse. The way stress shows in me is that I'm bothered, that I can't manage what I'm doing, and that affects my sleep. And I have issues falling asleep, I wake up during the night, and if I don't sleep well, that affects my mood. And I also neglect my fitness regime, I don't do my sports regularly, and I don't pay attention to such a healthy, balanced diet. Okay, I eat all kinds of crap to be honest, but that's another story. Now, not sleeping well and being not in the best mood is not something so out of the ordinary. What I need to pay attention to is if this happens over a longer period of time. Then I need to react. And how do I do that? I try to take a step back and look at the situation and try to organize myself better. The important part here is that when you're in the moment, in the stressful situation that you are in, maybe it's advisable to take a short break. Go for a little walk. And then once you're back, you can better evaluate what's going on. Because if you don't do that, it will get worse. How does it show? Getting worse. So getting worse for me means even less sleep, even grumpier mood, and even less fitness and health regime that I adhere to. And I also stop doing things that I normally like doing. For example, cooking is something that I enjoy doing very much. That's my creative outlet. This is how I can try new things and be creative. The one thing though that always stands out for me is that once I go from the first stress level to the next one, is that I feel like I'm losing control of my life. Life just happens to me. I'm not in the driver's seat, I'm not doing the things that I want to do, and that really, really bothers me. When I always talk about my recovery, the key moment of my recovery is when I stopped blaming others. When I stopped saying, you are at fault, you're a shitty manager, I'm burning out because of you. No, I'm in charge of my life and I want to be in control. And this is always what I try to do whenever I feel maybe not first level stressed, but second level stressed, when I notice it's getting too much for too long. I take a proper break. At least an hour, I go for a walk, I try to take my mind off what bothers me, I try to gather my thoughts, maybe do some breathing exercise, and only when I'm in the right state of mind, I return to work and I do a brain dump. I write everything down that's in my head. The idea here is to declutter my head. And then from that, I do a very detailed to-do list. Why do I do a detailed to-do list? I want to see everything in front of me that is going on. Then the first thing I do is I communicate that to-do list to my immediate surrounding. So my wife, my kids, my boss, everybody knows that I have a lot on my plate. Please leave me alone for the next couple of days, or just go easy on me. The other thing that I do is I look at this to-do list in terms of timing, what can I move, and what can I delegate. I think a very important learning for me is that I'm not in this alone, and you are not in this alone. There will be always people that can help you out in some way or another. And this is how I organize myself then. I have the detailed to-do list, and from that I can see, I communicate, hey, I'm very busy, leave me alone, delegate, and move around what I can move around. Again, I have to do this in the right state of mind. If I'm in the moment stuck in a stressful situation, it doesn't work. So a proper break, brain dump, detailed to-do list, organization. This is how I avoid completely going into an overwhelmed status where I can't think, where I can't do anything. Very important. Notice that and react. Now, my question to you. What stresses you out? What are your stress triggers? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? And how do you react? What are your coping mechanisms? It would be very interesting to hear that. Thank you very much for leaving a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching my clip, and see you in the next clip. Take care.